Hello friends, myself Yakuta Karkhanawala. Today we'll be discussing about few examples of writing flowchart and drawing algorithm of the first one is finding the roots of a quadratic equation and second one is maximum of 3 numbers. So let's start with the first one, that is roots of a quadratic equation. Now you all know, right, that the roots of the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c. So we have three coefficients here, a, b and c. So we'll input three coefficients, find out the value of delta and then find out the value of roots, okay, one by one. So let's start with writing the algorithm of roots of quadratic, finding the roots of quadratic equation. The first step is, alright, we'll start. Next, the second one is reading the coefficient values. So read the values of a, b and c. Then we'll find out the value of delta. So that is, I have specified here, use the word d, that is d equal to b square minus 4ac. Next is, if the value of d is greater than 0, if the condition is true, then we'll go to some point, the true point, and if the condition is false, then we'll go to another point. So what is our next point? 5. That is, if our condition is true, then we'll calculate the roots. How to calculate the roots is r1 is equal to minus b plus root of d by 2a and r2 is equal to minus b minus root of d by 2a. Then afterwards, we'll display the value of this root. So print r1 comma r2. We need to stop after this. So right now I have written go to some stop point. Since I don't know the stop point, I'll keep it as blank. Next is, if the condition is false, we'll go to point number 9. What is our point number 9? To display the root, that roots are complex or imaginary roots, and then we'll stop our algorithm. Now this stop number we have to mention here. Okay, let's see the flowchart of finding the roots of the quadratic equation. So first we'll start with the symbol start, right? Next we are going to read the values of a, b, c. So we'll use the parallelogram symbol in which we'll write down read a, comma b, comma c. Now we need to find out the value of delta, so that is d. d is equal to b square minus 4ac. Now we'll check the conditions of d, right? So for that we'll use rhombus symbol in which we'll write down the condition if d greater than 0. If there will be two outputs, one would be true and another would be false. So if the condition is true, then we'll calculate the roots of the equations, that is r1 and r2. What is the value of r1? r1 is equal to minus b plus root of d divided by 2a, and r2 is minus b minus root of d divided by 2a. After finding the roots of r1 and r2, we'll display the result. So that is print r1 comma r2 comma r2. Now if the condition is false, then we'll display the message that the roots are complex, or you can say it as an imaginary roots, and we'll stop our flowchart using rounded rectangle. We'll connect both the outputs of our print statements and then we'll use the stop symbol. So this was about the complete flowchart of finding the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, so we've seen how to write down the algorithm and how to draw the flowchart of roots of an equation. Let's come to the next one, that is finding out the maximum of 3 numbers. Okay, so we are going to input 3 numbers and find out which number is the greatest or the maximum number. Okay, so the first is start. Second is, we'll read down the three numbers. It is read A, B and C. Afterwards, we'll check the conditions. So first what we are going to do is we'll compare A value with the value of B and C. So there are two conditions. First we are going to compare A with B, and then afterwards we'll compare A with C. So that will be two conditions. So I have mentioned here, if A greater than B, first condition, and second condition is A greater than C. In between these two conditions, I am using AND operation. What is meant by AND operation? That both the conditions should be true to get the final output as true. If any condition is false, then the output would be false. So if A greater than B is false and A greater than C is true, then the output would be false. If I want that A should be the maximum number, so I want that A greater than B should also be true and A greater than C should also be true. Okay, so the two conditions are separated by AND operations. So if A greater than B is greater and A greater than C is true, then I'll go to point number 4. What is our point number 4? That print A is maximum. Okay, after printing A is maximum, I'll go to stop. Since I don't know the point number of stop, right now I have kept it as blank. Only go to, and I have not mentioned what is the point number. But if the condition is false, then I'll go to point number 6. What is our 6th point number? In that, now A is out of the picture, so I have only two variables left. One is B and another is C. So I'll compare B and C. If B greater than C, and if the condition is true, then go to point number 7. What is 7? Print B is maximum, and then again I have to stop this particular part. So I'll use go to statement in the 8th number of point. But if the condition is false, then I'll go to point number 9. What is the point 9? Print C is maximum, and afterwards I'll stop the program. Now I've got the point number of stop, it is 10. So this 10 I'll mention it in 5 and 8 number point. Okay, so this was about the algorithm. That is, if condition A greater than B is greater, and if A is greater than B and if A is greater than C, then A is maximum number and go to 10. So 10 means stop. But if the condition is false, then I'll go to point number 6. In 6, I am comparing B and B greater than C. If the condition is true, then B is maximum is printed. Go to 10 means I'll come to stop. But if the condition is false, then I'm coming to point number 9 where C is maximum and then again stop. Okay. So this is the way we'll write down the algorithm of maximum of 3 numbers. Now let's see the next one. That is to draw the flowchart of this particular problem or the example. Okay. So first we are going to start. Of course, we'll start with the start symbol. Then we'll read 3 values. So for that, use the input node symbol, read, and then inside it write down read A, B, C. Do not forget arrows. Read A, B, C. Afterwards, we'll check the conditions. So for that, we'll draw the rhombus. Inside that, we'll put the condition if A greater than B, first condition, separated by AND operation and the double ampersand, and A greater than C, the second condition. So if this condition is true, or it can be false also. But if this condition is true, then I'll display that A is maximum number, because A is greater than B also and A is greater than C also. So I'll display print A is maximum number. But if this condition is false, then I'll check for the new conditions. So for that, I'll check the new condition. For that, I'll write down if B greater than C. Again, in that we'll have to output true and false. So if B greater than C is true, then I'll display if B greater than C is true, then I'll display B is print B is maximum number. If it is false, then I'll display print C is maximum number. Now I'll connect all the print symbols, because after every print symbol I should stop my flowchart. So I'll connect all the print symbols, output of all the print symbols, and then mention the stop, draw the stop symbol. Right? So you can see here that if this condition is true, then we'll follow this part where A is maximum, and then we'll come here and stop it. But if the condition is false, then we'll check B greater than C. If it is true, then B is maximum and stop. And if it is false, then C is maximum and then stop. Okay, so this is the way the flow of the problem is easily depicted, understood by drawing the flowchart. Thank you. Goodbye.